line by the co-founders of this Re Basadi retreat, and that is Tebatso Molapo as well as Nonhlanhla Mcina. Tebatso, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us.
We're going to start with Nonhlanhla.
We're going to start with Nonhlanhla. Good afternoon, Nonhlanhla.
Hi, how are you?
Well, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm okay.
Yeah, I can imagine that under the circumstances.
Yeah, no, it's been a surreal couple of days, but what can we say?
So firstly, Nonhlanhla, we have to say that from the upside, we do commiserate with you, as well as Olorato's family members and friends, loved ones, everybody who has come across her. And I think South Africa at large, because South Africans have been rather touched by this incident. But tell us about how you know Olorato and, what you remember of her.
Okay, so I met Olorato through Re Basadi, and I think Tebatso will speak a lot more onto Re Basadi and what it's all about. So she decided to start hosting retreats, and that's where I met Olorato. And you know what? I am so glad that I decided to take the chance of meeting 15 random strangers and just embracing sisterhood. One thing about Olorato, she was such a girl's girl, and she was very big on sisterhood, showing up for each other and just being there for one another. She's all about creating safe space for women because she believed that there was a softness to women that still needed to be protected. There was a post that she posted a while ago, and it haunts me today. She posted questioning the notion of what tindumfazi, what tindimbobot. You strike a woman, you strike a rock. She reminded us that women aren't rocks. Women are soft.
Anything but.
Women are delicate. Women should be nurtured. Yes, they are powerful, but should never be treated like rocks. And she spoke about how this softness needed so much protection. It really, really breaks my heart that a woman that poured so much is not here today, all because we still don't know how to protect women in South Africa. So I could speak the whole day of Olorato and how great she was, because she really, really was a gift from above. So much love, so much kindness. I think anyone that had an interaction with Olorato will tell you of how seen and how heard they felt by her.
And it's an important conversation to be having, Nonhlanhla, that you shine a light on who Olorato was. And because right now we have a specific story that we all have seen and have experienced, but we want to know who Olorato really was. What dreams did she have as we remember her today? It's 22 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African time. This is The Upside. If you have any questions, if you want to send through your condolences to the family, +27 634 06 9126.
Get Channel Africa on DSTV Audio Bouquet. Channel 802. Africa at Play with NATO and ETO Chairman.
The Confederation of African Athletics, CAA President Mr. Hamad Kalkaba Malboum, talk to us about the state of athletics in Africa as it stands, and what picture are you looking at 5 years later?
Yeah, athletics in Africa is strong. We are able to organize our major events in time. Like this year, we will have the under-20 and under-18 African Championship in Nigeria. Next year, we will have the senior in Ghana. In 2027, we will go back to Algeria to organize the under-18 and under-20. And then 2028, we will have the senior championship in Gaborone in Botswana. Well, by this program, we can increase our performance. And at the same time, we are considering the fact that within the British Federation, they are identifying young talent every year within their program within the scholarship championship. So the athletics in Africa is in good standard.
Live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time. We take no sides, none whatsoever. We are the upside.
It is 24 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African Time. Today we honor the life of Olorato Mongali, a 30-year-old woman known for her warmth, her voice, and her passion for uplifting other women. And she was a vibrant part of the Re Basadi network of female entrepreneurs. And recently we found out that her life was cut short in a very senseless act of violence that has left Johannesburg and the world at large reeling. We're joined on the line by Nonhlanhla, who's part of the Re Basadi network and who was able to have conversations and has met Olorato before. Nonhlanhla, when you found out, when you heard the news, what were you doing at the time and what went through your mind when you heard it?
Disbelief, right? Olorato is one of those that, nobody deserves it, but in my mind, I'm like, it cannot be Olorato. She is one of the most cautious people that I know. Always, Noni, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'll let you know when I get back. Or she always communicated. It was just shocking. I think I took a while to just look at the poster and just, zoom in. Is this really Olorato? And, I then started calling her just to check, what's going on, because we had actually spoken earlier. So I was just a bit confused as to, what happened. Tried calling her, grew very concerned because I think I called her throughout the evening and she just didn't pick up. And then eventually I just decided, let me call somebody from the poster. I called her mother and I think she was just occupied, so I called a different number and that went through, and I was hoping they're going to tell me, no, she's been found, but unfortunately she confirmed that, we had just gone to the morgue and it is Olorato. To say I was shattered is an understatement. I think, we always see and hear about these things. And in as much as it's a reality, it feels so much more different when it happens so close to home.
Yeah. I can tell the emotion in your voice, Nonhlanhla. You speak about her taking precaution, and I know Tebatso has joined us now on the line, and we're going to be speaking to her about the organization Re Basadi that you co-founded with her. But speak to us about those precautionary measures that she adhered to. It has been reported that she was communicating with a close friend throughout, sending her location and saying her last essentially message was that if I do not get in touch with you in an hour, you must know that something has gone wrong, or check up on me. How important is it for women to put in place these kind of security measures for themselves, and are they at all effective?
Look, I think we can see now more than ever how important it is. We always just spoke about, add me on Find My Phone, and it was just something that you did because maybe one day you're gonna need to find your phone or something along those lines. Never I would go missing, you'd need to come hunt for me. I think to show just how organized and how well planned she had thought about everything. 30 minutes. It's sad that she thought she would need to send out, alerts or notifications every 30 minutes, but I think she taught us something very valuable to communicate, not just to one person, but let people know where you are, what you're doing, and who you're with. I mean, looking at the turnaround of just how fast they were able to locate her items, and just to figure out where she was, because I don't think she, would have been able to have been found as quickly as she did. It's so painful that everything happened so quickly, and we were hoping for better outcomes, but I think it is a blessing that, she had those precautions in place and was able to be found, because God forbid she didn't have those locations and we only figured out on Monday morning that she's missing, and it's just a whole mission trying to get her.
Well, we'll continue honoring the life of Olorato Mongale. We are currently in conversation with Nonhlanhla Mcina, a friend of Olorato, and Tebatso Molapo, founder of Re Basadi. We'll have a conversation with her in a few minutes' time just to find out what the network is all about, how she met Olorato, and the work that they are doing as Re Basadi. For now, though, it's 30 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African time. Let's get your sports news.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
And a very good afternoon from the sports desk. I am Musibudi Makura with your latest sports news at the hour. We'll start here. Enzo Maresca says Cole Palmer's lean streak has made him a better player after the playmaker's sensational performance inspired Chelsea's Conference League comeback win last night. The Blues claimed their first silverware in 3 years after defeating Real Betis 4-1 in Poland in what was a far more competitive contest than that scoreline suggested. After a superb breakthrough season last term and a strong start to this campaign, Palmer's form tallied off badly after Christmas. His late penalty in a 3-1 win against Liverpool earlier this month ended a 17-game goal drought, but he remains his only striker since mid-July. This is what Maresca had to say about the influence of Cole Palmer.
The bad moment or the bad run he had during this season is going to make him a better player, no doubt. We all know that he's a top player. We need to help him to be in the right position, in the right moment. And then he's quality player. In the last third, he can decide games with goal or with assist. And as you said, the two assists, they have been both very, very nice.
Now, Maresca also said Chelsea can use winning the UEFA Conference League as a springboard for future success.
Hopefully it can be a starting point. To build a winner mentality, you need to win games, you need to win competition. And for sure, the trophy we won tonight is going to make us better. But also, I'm very proud about the path or the journey we have done in the Premier League. That for me is the most difficult competition in the world. You have to be consistent. It's 38 games, and this player they show during this. That's why after Nottingham Forest, my outburst was a little bit.
Meanwhile, police arrested 28 fans in the Polish city of Wrocław after clashes between Chelsea as well as Real Betis fans before the UEFA Conference League final. Now, hundreds of fans clashed in the Wrocław Market Square on Wednesday afternoon, but police quickly intervened. It had initially been reported that a water cannon was used, but Wrocław City Hall has confirmed it was on standby as a precautionary measure. But the situation did not escalate to a level that required their deployment. The local authority said order has since been maintained and was maintained across the city, and the match at the Stadion Wrocław reached a capacity of 41,000 people with no fewer further disturbances reported, while 5,500 people watched in the fan zone in the city. An estimate of 70,000 fans arrived in the city in the southwest of Poland for the final, a number that covers ticket holders as well as those attending fan zones and other events around the city. In tennis news now, Norway's Casper Ruud has criticized the ATP ranking system by describing it like a rat race which forces players to compete with injuries. Ruud, a two-time runner-up at the French Open, suffered a second-round exit on Wednesday, losing 2-6, 6-4, 6-1 and 6-love to Portugal's Nuno Borges. Now, the 7th seed won the first set comfortably, but then struggled towards the end of the match with a knee injury that he has been carrying since April. Now, Ruud said it is difficult to take time off on the ATP Tour to allow for injuries to heal. The ATP, as well as the Women's WTA Tour, have mandatory requirements, meaning that players must appear at a set number of tournaments each season. The top-ranked ATP players are required to participate in 8 of the 9 mandatory Masters 1000 events each year, with Monte Carlo the only exception. Ruud missed Monte Carlo, the first big clay court event of the season, but he played at the Italian Open in Rome after winning his first ATP Masters title in Madrid also this year. And finally, in case you missed it, Charlie Woods has won his first American Junior Golf Association event to follow in his father's Tiger Woods footsteps. Now, the 16-year-old American claimed a 3-shot victory at the Team Tyler Made Invitational in Bowling Green, Florida on Wednesday. So Tiger Woods played in 13 AJGA tournaments from 1991 to 1993, winning 8, the joint highest behind Phil Mickelson. In his 5th event on the AJGA tournament, Charlie began the final round 1 shot behind overnight leader Luke Colton, ranked 606th by the Junior Association of America. The teenager mixed 2 bogeys with 8 birdies for a 6 under par 66 on the Black Horse at Streamsong Resort, which also saw him top the leaderboard at 15 under par. Before this week, the young Woods' best result on the junior circuit was a share of 25th place at the Junior Invitational at Sage Valley in March of this year. And that's a wrap from the Sports Desk at the Sawa. For any sports stories you'd like to share with us, our email address is newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11714 4459. For Channel Africa Sport, I am Musibudi Makura.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Hey guys, question. Have you thought about what happens between 9 o'clock until midday, Saturday and Sunday? Well, it's me. Those that know me call me the fun police, and I'm that girl, that voice on your radio. My name is Nompumelelo Ngubeni. I'm all about the finer things in life. Where to go, what to wear, who to see, and ultimately what to do. We aspire to bring you the best in travel, entertainment, with a dash or maybe a dose of laughter. And then, of course, we switch things up a bit when we look at technology. I love what's happening with AI because you blink, something new pops up. So the challenge is constantly there. I'm learning every single time on the show. So catch me every single Saturday and Sunday at 9 a.m. until 12 midday Central African Time, Baba.
The Upside. On the Upside, your voice matters.
It is 37 minutes after 1 Central African Time. Thank you, Musibudi. But we head now to all things econ, business news. I wonder if it's not out yet, that repo rate announcement. Is it Buntle Headbush?
Business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Good afternoon, and no, that repo rate decision is not out yet. The South African Reserve Bank is announcing the latest decision on the repo rate this afternoon. With inflation currently at a subdued 2.7%, some economists are calling for a rate cut to stimulate growth. However, others caution that the global economic uncertainties and structural challenges may justify maintaining the current rate. Head economist at KPMG South Africa, Frank Blackmore, explains some of the factors that the bank may take into consideration when making its decision.
There are upside risks, as you said, the geopolitics. Will the US put trade tariffs on us? We might get sanctioned. The rand might lose some value. And all of that needs to be taken into account when setting interest rates. which just might mean that we continue to pause on those interest rate changes for the next, at least until the next meeting, when more clarity may be available.
South African Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana says that Africa must find different ways of becoming self-sufficient amid an unstable geopolitical environment. He spoke to SABC News on the margins of the African Development Bank Group's annual meeting in Abidjan, Ivory Coast. The meeting comes as a trade war intensifies, affecting a number of countries. Godongwana elaborates.
One of the other challenges Africa is facing now, overseas development assistance is declining completely, and also the various trade challenges that are emerging as a result of the American position. So what that means is that Africa has got to look at being self-sufficient, and we need institutions to be able to fund our own development as Africa. And therefore, this institution, amongst others, it has got to work with national development agencies and so on to attack the level of poverty and infrastructure deficiencies in our economy.
Godongwana, meanwhile, remains optimistic that South Africa's presidential candidate at the African Development Bank Group, Bajabulile Swazi Tshabalala, will do exceptionally well. Tshabalala will be up against 4 other candidates who want to head the continental institution. Godongwana says the African Development Bank is facing a massive responsibility.
The campaign is going very well. As all other campaigns, you may think we are doing well, only to find that things are bad. But as things stand, we think our campaign is working well. I can tell you, if my predictions are correct, there will be an elimination process. I think she's probably going to be amongst the 2 that are going to be finishing.
French oil major Total Energies says it has agreed to sell its 12.5% stake in the Bonga oil field offshore Nigeria to Shell, which is currently operating the field, for $510 million. The deal will increase Shell's ownership in the Bonga oil field to 67.5%. The transaction remains subject to regulatory approvals, but is expected to be concluded the year-end. Oil prices rose by $1 a barrel after a U.S. court blocked most of President Donald Trump's tariffs, while the market was watching out for potential new U.S. sanctions curbing Russian crude flows and an OPEC Plus decision on hiking output in July. Brent crude futures climbed $1.03 or 1.6% to $65.93 a barrel. Yesterday, a U.S. trade court ruled that Trump overstepped his authority by imposing across-the-board duties on imports from U.S. trading partners. Now, taking a look at our indicators this afternoon, $1 in Nigeria is trading at 1,000 naira 585. In Botswana, it's at 13 pula 28. Kenya, the dollar is trading at 128 shilling 41, and in Zambia, it's at 26 kwacha 71. Moving along to the BRICS countries, $1 in Brazil is trading at 5 real 66, Russia 79 rubles 90, India 85 rupees 42, China 71 19, and South Africa $1 is trading at 17 rand 92 cents. $1 is trading at 74 pence to the British pound and 88 cents to the euro. Looking at commodities now, gold is trading at $3,273 and platinum at $1,077 per ounce this afternoon, while Brent crude oil is at $65.70 a barrel. And those are your business news at this hour. For any business news stories you'd like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa Business, I am Bontle Hetbush.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective. Get the news, music, and lifestyle of Africa on Channel Africa. The African perspective. Big news from Channel Africa. Now you can listen and watch your favorite shows on Channel Africa. Channel Africa is streaming live on the internet on all our social media pages at Channel Africa 1. From 6 a.m. till 9 p.m. Central African Time. Download the SABC Plus app or visit our website www.channelafrica.co.za and stream us live on all our social media pages at Channel Africa 1. Channel Africa now streaming for your eyes and ears only. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Join Tebogo and Nompumelelo on the upside, where optimism meets opportunity.
16 minutes before 2 p.m. Central African Time. Welcome back to The Upside, Thursday edition of the show. We are broadcasting live from our Auckland Park studios in Johannesburg, South Africa. Tune in and stream us live on our social media platform at Channel Africa 1 on X, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, and at Channel Africa on Facebook. Use the hashtag The Upside. We continue our conversation remembering, honoring Olorato Mongale. And earlier we were having a conversation with a very close friend, Nonhlanhla Mcina, and now we want to have a conversation with Tebatso Molapo, founder of Re Basadi. It's a network of female entrepreneurs, and I understand that Olorato played a massive role in contributing to this network. She was passionate about women, and especially women in entrepreneurial spaces. To tell us more about Olorato and also Re Basadi network, we are joined by Tebatso. Tebatso, thank you so much for your time and welcome to The Upside.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. It's quite an honor to be able to come here and talk about the beautiful legacy of Olorato.
And condolences to you and the family of Olorato. Take us through your first memories of Olorato. When she signed up, I'm guessing you met her through the Re Basadi network. What are some memories that you can share with us of Olorato?
So I actually met Olorato in university. So I went to Rose, yes. So that was 10 years ago. And so my major was in the Bachelor of Journalism. And one of my electives was French. And so anybody that knows me, I do talk a lot, but anybody that knows me, that I'm quite shy when I enter new spaces. I don't share a lot. Like I'm a very quiet person, but once I start talking, I also don't stop. And I remember walking into the French class and Olorato was sitting there and I was just drawn to her. She just had this energy that will just draws you in. I'm this young girl from Limpopo, Mpumalanga. Rhodes is quite a diverse university. And I sat with her, I remember we were doing an oral exam that week or around that time. And we were just talking and just telling me how I'm going to do great. And that's my initial and my very initial memory of Olorato. So we reconnected again on social media. So I left Rhodes. I was only at Rhodes for a year. Then I moved to Johannesburg and obviously we reconnected. So I love women. I love the work that women do. I love women that are vocal. I've always been very vocal about issues about women in my early 20s. And obviously then as you evolve in your womanhood, then I guess my purpose evolved with me. And so our first stance with Re Basadi was looking at bringing women together to discuss how to be better in business, to be innovative, and to kind of just draw ourselves and be better and greater in business. But as I evolved, I also realized that there's a need not only for women in business, but just for women. Women need community. Women need a space where they don't have to fight. Like we really don't always have to be fighting, but we just embrace each other and love each other. So I remember when I posted about the first retreat, and Olorato sent me a very beautiful voice note encouraging me and telling me that it's such a beautiful concept and I should definitely not even not do it. And that's when we reconnected last year. And yeah, we've just been growing in friendship, in community, and in love as friends.
Tebatso, you speak about Olorato as a lover of women and the work that women do. I understand that she, because of her closeness to the cause of women and the beauty of and in women, she veered off or changed the trajectory of her career from journalism, practicing in journalism, because she really could no longer stomach reporting on issues such as gender-based violence. Do you know that story or that aspect of her life closely that you can just bring us light to?
So no, I don't know that side.
Sure.
So what we do at Re Basadi, even Nonhlanhla will tell you, it's very rare that you'll find us talking about our careers. We talk about our aspirations, what we want to be in the world. So one of the conversations I remember that we had at the retreat is us basically talking about how we're going to raise our kids, and we're going to get a farm, and the kids will be playing. And because I've got 2 kids, I've got 2 very busy kids, and she's like, oh yeah, you'll take care of the kids because, like, you're experienced in that department. So you would barely ever find a woman talking about careers. We will talk about things that we want to engage in terms of rest and leisure. She'll tell us about her traveling, meeting women on some of the trips that she's been on. And yeah, so it was very rare that you would find us talking about work and anything career related, so.
And how important, Tebatso, are such initiatives? The retreats that you have, Re Basadi Network, how important is this community in light of what has happened, but also in a way to foster a growing community of women supporting one another in every aspect of life, not just in business? How important are such initiatives like the one that you are running right now?
So if you follow closely, I think I've also just been following closely, trying to understand what people are saying. You also see that Olorato was very active in different communities of her friendships. And so what we really want to promote is to say, as a woman, having community can save you so much, and not just in terms of this conversation, but we deal with so much as women in our personal lives, work, and just being on a call with a friend can actually save you, can help you leave a relationship. It can help you. It can help you get. I didn't want to get out of a bed this morning, and I was on a call with a friend, and we just spoke, and it kind of like just pushed me to say, okay, let me just get up and go about my day, So a thing that I like to say is that when women come in love, that's when we really empower each other. And I think if there's a woman listening, if you have been one of those people like, oh, I don't really want to have friendships, it's something that should be intentional. We should be really intentional about loving each other and kind of like just trying to form deeper relationships with each other, because there's only so much on the surface. But if we really start talking about our issues, I mean, in the past couple of years, I'm also nearly 30, but there have been situations that my friends have gotten me out of simply because we relate to each other on that level, and they've been able to guide me through their stories, and I've also been able to guide them through my stories. So, yeah.
Tell us about the retreats. What are they about? And Re Basadi, I suppose, as an organization, what you do, how people can get in touch with you if they require your services or that community.
So what the retreats aim to do is just to bring women together so that they can build friendships. So like Nonhlanhla said, I've known Nonhlanhla. We met in grade 1. Yeah, so I've known Nonhlanhla since I was 7 years old, and we also reconnected through the retreats. So even the women that came last year, it was women that I have worked with in the past 10 years. So they'll be at 1 or 2 of my events. And yeah, so they came, we were together for an entire weekend. And from there were friendships that blossomed. So because when you are on the organizing front, it's not always easy to be like, sit down and chat. But I think my goal is to be a network where women can find each other, like, and find the right people for themselves. So they'll travel together. I think so. They travel together, and obviously, when they're traveling together, they get to know each other, and 1 or 2 relate, and then this friendship that blossoms just from that. And for me, that has always been my goal, to say, I don't have to be friends with everybody. I can know, but I can bring the right people to them. And also in that community as well, then I'm also able to build my own friendships with these amazing women. So we do host retreats twice a year, and it's just so that we get away from all our other responsibilities and just be girls. That's how we like to call it. We say we just want
girls.
We can just be, so we can just be girls. And Olorato was a huge part of. I remember so vividly. There was the first night when we met last year when we had our first retreat, and she we're just having conversations. So we're having conversations about loss. When you miscarry, so sorry, but when you miscarry, and the women were having like a conversation, and she would urge the ladies to talk because she understands that conversation is very healing. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, this is getting a little bit deep, let's not but it was just it's just so beautiful how much healing happens in conversation. And obviously not to draw it to here or saying you have to come to the retreats or come to the retreat, but creating your own community. For me, I think that's my biggest takeaway or message to women, to say create communities, even in the communities that you are in, or find women that you resonate with and create connections at not just surface level, but deeper than the weather. Yeah.
Sure.
Nonhlanhla, as a close friend of Olorato, how do you think she would want to be remembered?
She would want to be remembered for her love. She would want to be remembered for how boldly and how loudly she lived. Olorato lived with her chest. She said what she said, and she stood for what she believed in, and always encouraged us to go for what we wanted. And she would always say to me, Dwana, if you fail, you fail. It's a lesson learned. So really, it's loving boldly, living intentionally, and going for everything and anything that she wanted. I mean, Olorato decided, imagine at 30, I'm going to go back to school. How bold and how brave is that?
It's incredible. Ladies, both Nonhlanhla and you, Tebatso, thank you so much for your boldness today in coming here and speaking about a friend, someone you hold so dear to your hearts, and sharing her a little bit with us, giving us a glimpse of who she was. We really do appreciate it, and our hearts do go out to you. May you be comforted.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.